Well, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to welcome Evil Baby Goose, aka
So,
Reese Watkins, to the NFC podcast for the second time in a month. Reese, thank you for joining us, brother. How you living?
can't complain. Working, training, same old, same old.
How many times did you tell yourself that people want to see you lose this fight today?
A lot every day. I know people do. I'm glad. I'm glad that people want to see me lose because I feel like people just think I'm some arrogant little shithead that just talk shit and stuff. But I don't talk shit. I make factual statements. So I feel like people just. I feel like people don't appreciate. Don't appreciate what I'm saying, and they just they get offended and they just get mad and offended at what I'm saying, or what I'm doing, what I'm saying. So it's whatever.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, Reese Watkins joining us here on NFC Now, show number 19. Reese will be fighting Louis Brewington on April 21st at Jesse Wable's Amateur Series, but this will be your professional debut. Now, before we talk about April 21st, let's talk about the last time you came on the pod and David brought to you the fact that Louis called you out. Now, looking back on that, man, like, what were your emotions when that actually happened during the pod?
I was pretty pissed. I was pissed that happened, and I was pissed. I kept asking me about it. Um, so I was like, cause I was just like, what the hell? Um, but it is what it is. So it's just business now. A fight worked out. I've been wanting to fight Lewis for a while, just never worked out. But now it's working out. So I'm just glad that I get to go out there and show what I'm capable of.
You were pissed at Louis or pissed at us?
I was pissed at the whole situation, man. I was just like, who the fuck? I'm like, how the fuck? I was like, how Lewis gonna say that? And then, once I sat down the first time, I feel like y'all kept asking me. So I'm like, I didn't get us your job, but I'm like, I was kind of like the whole situation just had me hot, you know. But it's whatever. It's all good now. So
Indeed. When I went back and I looked back at that interview, I could definitely see where you're coming from when you say that, man. So I just wanted to address that up front. I could see how like you were caught off guard, bro. Like we just want to be clear. Our intention on the pod is to never catch anybody off guard in that type of sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we had you on to talk about the call outs, and then now you were getting called out. So I could see how you could feel that way, man. Just know that, hey, I'm a fan of the sport, and that seemed like a really good fight to me. And I just wanted to get clarity about not only the things that were being said on social media, but what David said in that fight. Understood?
yeah. I mean, with the whole social media shit and calling that out, I feel like people are content being a big fish in just one region, and so it's like I'm not. I have bigger aspirations and bigger goals, and people just they get that little bit of success. They hear people screaming their name at the district or Tannery Raw, and they think, oh, I'm him, I made it. But we still got a ways to go. So I feel like motherfuckers just be content just sitting there. They're like, oh, I'm the local, what is a hometown hero, and that just goes to their head. So I feel like people gotta take a step back, and everyone's trying to get to like the UFC, Bellator, PFL, something like that, and I feel like people just don't appreciate it, and then before they just start taking shit personally, you know. That's how I feel about the social media shit.
I thought that was a great message that you had, and I feel like everybody kind of like took that message that you had on the pod the other day and was like, "Yo, don't take shit so personally." So we appreciate you putting out that public service announcement. Yeah. Now, I want to loop David into this conversation. Following the pod, how soon did the conversations be had with your coaches about this actually taking this fight, and what did that conversation look like between you and David and Jesse?
I talked to my coaches about the situation, and I was like, the more I thought about it, the more I like to fight. So a couple of days after, I was just like, I brought it up to him, and you know, with Lewis kind of felt like you kind of sneak me with that. So they didn't have a problem with it. And I know my coaches, they want me to get the respect, that I work for. So I talked to them, and I have David. So it was within that week. I was on the podcast on Monday, and it was finalized, David, on like Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, I think it was about a week later, and I think it just happened like Jonathan Francois versus Billy Cup. Billy Cup saw Jonathan Francois was going to be on tonight's podcast, so he jumped on to call him out right now. And it's like when we put online last week, you were going to be on Monday's podcast. That's when Brewington hit me like an hour before the podcast and said, hey, mention this to Reese, I want the fight. So that's kind of how it started, like an hour or two before when he saw you were going to be on it. But I think you hit me up a day or two later. We started talking about it, and I was happy because not only am I a promoter, but like Julien just said, I'm a fan as well, just along with everyone else. That's why I'm still in this 21 years later. So sometimes when we get guys that say, hey, I had a slice of pizza together, I can't fight each other. It was actually fun for me to see you guys have had a slice of pizza together, but now you guys are willing to fight each other. So I was happy and proud to see that happen because I know a lot of people want to see it. But then after you hit me up, I think I talked to Luis, and then my next call was Diego Lima, because Diego owns the gym that both you guys were training at, and I wanted to make sure I got his approval. And he said, hey, man, I'm down with it. He said, we're going to tell Brewington he can't train at our gym till April 21st. But after April 21st, he's welcome open arms with our gym. And by that point in time, Luis and Reese would fight. And then they can go back to training together because it's all over and done with. So Lima and I talked and thought it was a good idea and, good timing to get it over with. So.
That's basically it. I just basically have to get the coach's approval. And I feel like with this fight, just going back, that a lot of people think I'm gonna lose. And I just want to go out there and make a statement. And people say I talk shit. People say I do too much. I'm cocky. I'm arrogant. I'm arrogant. I'm arrogant because I believe in myself. It's not like I'm better. It's like I know what the work that I put in, and no one's more critical of me than me. No one hates me more than me, and all these people that love me, hate me, boo me, cheer me, they still finna watch me. So it is what it is. At the end of the day, I'm gonna go out there. And I'm gonna go out there and go get paid to do the shit I love the most in life, and they're gonna be watching from the side. So it is what it is. At the end of the day, I'm there.
Indeed, you are there, and I will say this, man. Just from being a consumer of your social media posts, I see more love than I see hate. I see a ton more love, and from my perspective, I don't think you talking smack. I think you making jokes, and I think it's very entertaining. So I'm curious to kind of know your insight on like who you think's hating on you, like who you think wants you to lose, or is it just?
I heard so much shit announced. All these people I know saying, "Oh, it's a toss up." People in the community saying, "Oh, it's a toss up," and like on one level, I'm like offended, but on the second level, I'm like, "Word, bet." I'm gonna find you in the crowd. I'm gonna point to you. I'm gonna be like, "Yeah, like he's gonna get laid out because of you, because of what you said." So I'm glad that maybe not with my fans, because you're gonna see on my pages, you're gonna see support for me because I work to gain those people that follow me and support me. But outside of that, you're gonna have people like people with these peon ass mindsets, and they gonna be they think it's a top. They don't really know the sport. They just see flashy highlights and all that, and they say, "Oh, he has a longer record. Oh, he fought the PFL and lost," but all that shit. So I think that's why you see, like on my page, you see a whole bunch of support. But you're gonna see support on my page because it's my page, So that's how
I feel bad now. I don't follow your page that much, so I'm going to have to start following her more now. I'm feeling a little bit out of the loop as you guys are both talking about it. Is this on Facebook or Instagram, and which one so other people watching can start following?
It's on Instagram is Evil Baby Goose, and on TikTok is Baby Goose MMA.
It's honestly like some of my favorite MMA content. Like I'm not even saying this because you on here, bro. But some of the stuff that you be putting up there is hilarious, bruh. Like that one where you were like, when I come into the gym for the first time as a professional fighter, you was like, it smell like bitch in here.
And like, I'm like, yo, that is
Yeah.
hilarious. It's funny because it's like it's showcasing who Reese Watkins truly is, man. Like I could see that energy. Now, you mentioned earlier that this is your first professional fight. A couple days ago, man, I went back and I watched the interview that you and I did after your first amateur fight in the NFC cage. I believe that was against John. I'm losing his last name. Excuse me.
Luis.
Yeah, John
John
Luis out of Independent MMA. You had a fresh fade. I had a fresh fade too back then. You know what I'm saying? I'm sporting afro. You got the full blown locks, man. You also made mention, after the fight was signed, you were like, 5 years in this, and now I can officially call myself a professional fighter. What does that mean to the Reese Watkins that I spoke to in 2019?
That mean the world. At that interview, I was still in high school. I hadn't graduated high school yet. That was my final semester. It would just mean so much that all the work I've been putting in. I skipped fucking prom to go to spar, bro. So all the work that I didn't have a date. I skipped all this shit that I sacrificed. I kind of stayed. I kind of burned. I didn't completely burn the boats, but I dropped at Howard. I had scholarships to go to Howard. So I said, "Fuck it." I believe in myself that I'm gonna make it. So to see where I've come, where I made it to, versus where I started, where I'm still gonna go. It really means a lot to me. I hope I'll make my family proud.
So I was going to ask questions that followed that. First, thanks for making me feel like a piece of shit, putting a high school kid in a cage to fight. So that makes me feel bad. Because
it was legal. I was 18, so you didn't do nothing wrong.
Now it feels like I'm a porn. Now it feels like I'm a porn director. But I was 18. You didn't do anything wrong. And second of all, I do remember like mailing you posters. I think in Washington D.C. when you were in college. So for people that don't know you, tell them about living in DC, why you went to college at Brown, and I didn't know you dropped out. So
yeah, I went to college. I was in a position where I kind of it was the right move for me to go to college. I used to be really resentful and say I was forced. I wasn't forced, but I didn't set myself up the best. I had set I got scholarships to go. Because I scored well on tests and did well, but so I went and my parents just try it for a semester, and at first I started liking it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay a whole year, but I just realized I wasn't happy there. It wasn't what I wanted to do, and I was still training, but out to where I was training, I trained at gym at 50/50, and shout out to Carlos and Sotia, and it was a great training environment. But to get to the gym alone, it was a 4-mile walk round trip and a 90-minute metro ride. So I could only go out like 3-4 days max, because I had to focus on school. I wasn't even focused on neglecting because I was just sad as hell, being a little bitch. So and just stuff I had to come back. Didn't do the best in school. And I'm like, this is a fuck it. Drop out, come back, be successful here. And then shout out to my parents. They fucking didn't kick me out immediately. They let me stay with them and let me work myself back up. And I really appreciate that if they end up watching this. So,
are they gonna be at the fight?
Yeah, they've been at all, but I think they've been at all my fights. Yeah. My mom and my dad, they're the biggest fans, biggest supporters. Even when I want to see eye to eye sometime, they're always in my corner. So I really appreciate that.
That means a lot. Again, ladies and gentlemen, Reese Evil Baby Goose Watkins joining us here on NFC Now, show number 19. Now, Reese, I know you said you were caught off guard by Louis last time, and it kind of pissed you off with the whole situation on the pod that you came on a couple weeks ago, man. How do you feel about Louis now?
It's business, man. How I feel at the end of the day don't matter because we both signed the contract. We both gonna fight, and at the end of it, whatever, if there's an issue there, it'll be resolved because we're in the only sport where if we have a problem, we can go fight. So he can say whatever you want to say. He can do whatever you want. It don't bother me. I used to train with Jared Gooden. No one talks more shit than Jared. No one talks more shit than Jared. Jared be beating my ass, clowning me when I was fucking 17. So no one talks. So it's whatever. He got to do what he got to do what he feels he got to do. But I'm indifferent. We're fighting. I don't hate anyone I fight. You're just you're just a target. You're just my job. So I try to perform to the best of my ability. Just
hearing you with that answer, I would say that just from my perspective, it seemed like a very political answer, but just like on some real talk, being that you did say that y'all trained the morning of the pod, and I'm sure that kind of caught you off guard. And look, I think we all know Louis pops his stuff. Louis pops his shit very frequently, man. Like, is it really one of those, oh, this is all business, or are you coming into this fight with a little extra animosity?
We talked on the phone. We had a long ass or a couple phone calls, and at the end, they're a little hot, but at the end, we say it's just business. He says just business. So, he says it's just business, and whatever animosity I have or if it's there, it'll be settled April 1st.
Who called who?
He called me. So, yeah.
Okay.
He did tell me you guys talked on the phone, and I thought he was lying to me. So it is interesting to see that actually happened. I thought he was yanking my chain. For me, the fun thing is going to be that this is 10 weeks away. So I think it's going to be a hell of a lot of content over the next 10 weeks out of both you guys. But the bad thing is this is 10 weeks away, and that is a very, very long time for us all to think about this for 10 weeks.
Yeah. I'm ready. I was thinking about it today. I just want the day. I want April to be here already, so.
I wish it was March 10th at the Battery because it seemed like that date worked out for both you guys. That's what he was originally calling for. I thought you guys would be much better next to the stadium, Cobb County, Smyrna, that setting compared to in Buford. That's what I wanted, but I didn't get my wish, but at least it did happen.
Yeah, at least it's happening.
Yeah.
Reese Watkins, man, before we let you get up out of here, man, you got any final thoughts you want to leave us with?
I just want to say all the people that doubt me, thank you. I use that shit. I think about it when I go to sleep. I think about it when I wake up. I think about it at work. I think about it when I'm driving. So I want to thank each and every one of you bitches for doubting me, because that shit fuels me. And when I knock his ass out and hold him there with that fucking medal and that check, I'll write each of y'all a fucking thank you note, man. Hell, DM me if you think I'm gonna lose, and I'll personally thank your ass. So, and the people that support me, I appreciate it. Always in my corner. But yeah, that's it. From the fight, y'all finna watch, because I know all y'all finna watch. This is the best fight that's gonna happen in Georgia. If you're not watching, you're dumb as fuck. So.
And the people that think you're going to win, Louis always bets $1,000 or $2 during the fights. Like during the fights, he's always walking around with a money bag. I saw him post on Facebook last week. He wanted to put up $5,000 on this fight on himself. So if you got people that believe in you,
I ain't putting up no $5,000.
I'm not saying for you. For the people that believe in you, if they're looking to make money, tell them to hit up Louis.
Yeah, hit up Louis. Help him lose some more money. So do that.
So you said by knockout?
Yeah, knockout.
Okay, I like that energy. Again, Reese Watkins, man, we appreciate you joining us here on NFC Now. Again, you're an amazing person to talk to, man. So if you ever want to come back on, you just holler at us, man. We always know we got some time for you, Reese. Well, we appreciate you for coming on, man, and just being a part of the show. We look forward to watching you compete on April 21st against Louis Brewington. Thank you, man.
Thank you for the opportunity. See y'all.
Indeed.